Want everyone to think the way we think, to like what we like. I don't drink milk. It's something from early childhood. My husband likes milk, but I let him know, if you drink milk, don't you come near me. I don't want to smell milk breath, but I don't tell him that it's wrong for him to drink milk. You know, that's just my thing, that I don't drink milk. But some of us will not consider someone else's opinion, someone else's thought, someone else's like or dislike. We think the only legitimate thing is what I think and how I feel. Again, from the position of the pastorate, some of us as pastors think that, there's only one opinion around here that counts. And then we got the nerve to think it's ours. When actually it's But sometimes people are not being difficult. They're expressing their own difference, their own their own opinion, and we need to have an appreciation. Variety, they say, is the spice of life. So, appreciate a little variety sometimes. And you never know what you may learn from someone else, even if they're being difficult. And the last one,
they need to hold their beliefs to feel comfortable and secure.
Some people only feel secure when they are able to hold on to what they believe. But all of these are some of the reasons, not all of the reasons, that some people are difficult. On your next page, I wanted to talk about labels. Oftentimes we will label people, and we can misjudge people. One of the things that I've said here on the bottom of the page is to be wary or cautious of labels. If you are not spiritual, you may misjudge someone. Because oftentimes we don't include spirit in it. We just feel that, hey, it's me and you. Holy Ghost ain't got nothing to do with this. This is just me and you. But above all things, we need to remember that we are children of the Most High King. We are God's children. And so we need to be spiritual. And if you're not going to be spiritual, you may possibly misjudge someone if you start labeling people. If you teach a Sunday school class and a student has been giving you a problem and you label that child or that student as being problematic, then when they move to another class, guess what? You've already shared with the next teacher, so-and-so is problematic, and what do they expect out of that person? And if you expect it, you will often get it. If you're not a professional, you may misdiagnose someone. How often have we used terms that, we're lay people, but we throw terms out there and label people, and really from a professional standpoint, you cannot, but we label them anyway. Okay? So if you do that, any of those things, you can cause undue and possibly irreparable harm. Because for some people, if you misjudge or misdiagnose, you can hurt them so bad that they don't want to recover. And they will harbor ill feelings, grudges, hurts, harm, much longer than they need to when they should be in the process of healing. You don't want to hinder someone's healing. All right? Always remember to talk about the situation and the conduct without labeling the individual. If someone is giving you a problem, you can talk about the problem, but don't label the individual. Don't refer to them constantly as that problem child. You know, that old mean thing. Old mean sister so-and-so, old mean deacon such and such. Don't label them. Be careful what you speak into the atmosphere, as well as to listeners, because if you keep speaking that into the atmosphere, that's what you're going to get. It's what you're going to get. All right? Look at some of the labels here. Sometimes we label people as, you know, and I know attitude can be both positive and negative. People can have good attitudes and they can have poor attitudes. I'm thinking with regard to a poor attitude. An attitude is a position of body or a manner or mannerism that people have that's indicative of their mood. Okay? Or their condition. And sometimes, you know, we refer to people as, you know, so-and-so is in your class, such and such a one is in your congregation. You know they got an attitude. How many people have you labeled that way? Simply because they express themselves. Antagonist. This is someone who opposes or actively competes against another. And if you have prepared yourself to believe that so-and-so is an antagonist, you begin to expect for them to be on the opposite, regardless to what you're always prepared, in other words, for the fight. You know, I'm coming to church, but I know so-and-so is going to fight me when I get there. Not a physical fight, but just a fight. Some years ago, this goes back many, many years, I was reading in the Jet magazine where two choir members had been at one another for years. Two ladies in the choir didn't like one another, and every Sunday when they came to church, they would, you know, make little things, kind of, you know, pick at one another. You know, just little things. And this went on for a number of years, and finally one was fed up and had made up her mind, if the other one says something to me today, that's it, we're going down. And sure enough, they get to church, they put on their choir robes, the first one's in the choir, the second one comes up to the choir stand, and she proceeds to take her seat, and as usual, you know, the person that she had been having difficulties with over the years said a little something to her that was just too much. The woman jumped up, she had a gun under her choir robe. Needless to say, the church had to have church that day. Somebody had to call on the Lord. She had come prepared for a fight. She should have been praying. She should have, you know, but she had come prepared for the fight because it had been going on constantly. They had been nipping at one another constantly. And sometimes you may not be aware how far you have pushed someone. That's why you need to be praying. Because particularly these days, when we're reading about it in the news, you know, constantly, that people are doing some over-the-top things, you know, you never know when the deacon's going to go off on you. He's tired of it. You never know when the Sunday school teacher's going to say, I'm not dealing with this anymore. You know, these kids drive me crazy. You know, we want to think that everybody is full and overflowing with the Holy Ghost. But then again, we're facing reality that some of y'all are just difficult. And there's a reason for it.